Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to coverage of high school basketball on Manchester Public Television Services. We find ourselves in tournament time in Division II boys at the Charles Quinn Gymnasium on the campus of West High School, where the Blue Knights, coming in at the number 8 seed, will host the Bobcats of Oyster River, the 9th seed. Always the best match of the first round of the tournament. I'm Peter Capano, and I'm joined by Tom Bezoyan, my good friend, former basketball coach here, and the football coach. Tom, how you doing?
Doing great. Glad to see West back in the playoffs. Should be a good matchup tonight.
It should be a good one. These two teams met back in January on the 24th. Oyster River taking a 71-57 win in Durham.
Yeah, I guess Joe Morrow had a 36 in that game for Oyster River, and they held Tang to 9. And I think that's the only game he didn't get in double figures.
Wow.
He was in foul trouble that night. But West is a different basketball team now this time of year. As we noticed doing a few games, they're definitely a different basketball team than they were then.
More confident,
yeah,
and more resilient too, I suppose.
I think they're the 8th seed, but in some of the rankings on some of the websites, they're as high as 6 as they do the rankings. New Hampshire Sports Page, a couple others, because of their late season run.
Yeah, they finished the season 7-1, losing just to the top seed Conval, and they lost to them in
5 overtimes? Yeah, right here. So Conval sitting in the wings waiting for the winner of this game. I imagine they're rooting for Oyster River tonight. I don't know that they want to match up with West again.
I think we're about to get the starting lineups. Yes, here we go. Good crowd on hand. Should be a fun atmosphere here tonight. Number 3 is Aiden Kelly, 6'1" junior guard. Number 10 is Ben Mattioni, a 6'3" junior forward. All have a certain shade of color on their hair.
Yeah. Must be a playoff thing.
Number 11 is Kyle Miller, a 6'2" senior guard. Number 12 is Joe Morrell, a 6'3" senior guard. Might be naturally blonde. Number 20, Hayden Marshall, 5'11", junior guard.
And Joe's his scorer, so look for him to put up some shots early.
Oyster River comes in at 10-8. Now for the Blue Knights. Carson Filardo wears number 1, the 5'9" junior guard. Number 4 is Josh Rose, sharpshooter, the 6' senior guard. Number 5 is Rashawn Prescott, 6' junior guard. Number 22 is the freshman sensation, Kerr Teng, 6'3" forward. And number 23, the big man, Rodney Hillary, 6'4" senior forward.
Yeah, interesting lineup change. Filardo starting tonight. Robles has been starting at the end of the year, but we'll see.
Our national anthem, ladies and gentlemen, will be sung by Annika Jenke Widland. A cappello. listen to the reception for Annika's rendition. That is terrific. I really like that.
Good job.
Changes a few notes in there, but it works.
Yeah.
All right.
We got a lively gym here, Pete.
That's great. Oyster River coached by Lauren Lucas. West by Justin Gorham. And Justin brings his team in here at 11-7 this year. So it's win or go home. The preliminary round of the Division II Boys Tournament about to get underway here in the Quinn Gymnasium. Rose has the tip taken out of his hands by Joe Morrow. Quick three comes up. Rebound to Kelly of Oyster River. Oyster River looks like they are going to play at West pace, which is fast and furious.
Weston, a man-to-man there.
Rose with the rebound. His 10. Baseline all the way across to Rose. Away comes Morrow. Morrow. Gallardo's going to get called. Looks like a pretty good hand on top of the ball from here, but Carson will pick up the first foul of the game.
That's a couple offensive rebounds early by Aiden Kelly. Looks like he's a scrapper in there. Offensively, that was a good look by Kerr. Just a little nerves showed there by Josh in the first three. Hopefully he comes around and gets hot.
He threw that pass all the way diagonally across the court. Kelly gets them both. Oyster River grabs the first points of the game, and there's a little miscommunication.
I think West just showing some nerves here. They haven't been in the playoffs in a few years. This group has not been in at all, and it's an atmosphere they're not really used to, so they're showing nerves early on.
Here's Miller. Gallardo on him. Now over to Mattioni. Kelly. Down low to the cutter. Is Miller. Couldn't come away with it. Here comes Gallardo. He has it knocked away from behind. Mattioni did the defensive work that time for the Bobcats. Here he is. There's the jumper from Kelly.
Quick 5-0 lead. Oyster River looks more relaxed. Let's see if West can settle down.
In the corner, Prescott. That's long. Here's Morrell. Miller. Now over to Kelly. Morrell again. Turnaround is good.
West needs a timeout here. Settle the guys down. Coach Gorham keeping them in his pocket for now.
Mattioni with the steal and the lay-in.
I think that's one possession too late. They're just not settled down. They're, telegraphing their passes. They only had one shot off, or two shots, and none of them hit anything. So they're
they didn't even catch the rim. Either one of those.
Neither shot. So they're a bundle of nerves right now.
Yeah.
That's not the way they play. They just need to settle down and get things going. Get the ball in Kerr's hands and see what he can do.
Yeah, you could see that turnover coming, that last one.
Yeah.
I would have gambled myself if I was Oyster River. You knew he was going to go right back over there where you hoped he would.
Yeah, I mean, they're just not, they're just too tight. They got to play looser. Filardo coming out now, and Robles checking in.
Yeah, who came on? Robles.
Yeah.
Here he is with the ball. Davian. Looking at a little bit of trapping pressure. That's a good look down low. Hillary's fouled. It'll be on Morrell.
They slowed it down a little bit offensively there. They just took their time and took what Oyster River gave them. So, I mean, you need to get the ball in Kerr's hands. He needs to touch the ball every time down the floor.
And that was he who had it at the top of the key and turned and made the good decision to go down low to Hillary. And West is on the scoreboard. Referees are discussing something. Not sure what that was about, but they're happy.
I think they was just straightening out who the foul was on.
Nine to 2, Oyster River. West showing some full court man-to-man. They're going to leave Miller alone in the corner. He'll drop the three on him.
And these guys aren't afraid to shoot. You know, they've been pumping up the threes since they got here.
Tang doesn't catch it cleanly, and it'll go out to Oyster River. That looked like a 1-1-3 zone. That was an odd setup there.
I think they're trying to just take Kerr out of the game a little bit. When he catches the ball, they're going to trap him.
Down along the block, and it's blocked by Hillary. Here comes Tang.
Oh, shit.
Got his feet tangled up with someone. There'll be a foul.
Right idea, though. Push the ball.
It's on Hayden Marshall. Second on the team, first on Marshall of Oyster River. There's Robles. Over to Rose. They got Tang. Didn't go. Prescott.
It's a 2-3 matchup. Once in a while you'll see the forwards coming up.
Rose.
So they're going to dare West to shoot.
Well, no doubt Josh Rose will take him up on that.
Yes,
he can
will.
make it too.
You know he'll shoot. He'll miss 10 in a row and keep shooting. So.
That'll be an and one. I think it'll come in on Rashawn Prescott. Yes, it is.
Kyle Miller's come to play. I mean, he's got 2 threes. Now he's going for the conventional 3. It's like these guys are loose. It seems like they got nothing to lose, and West at home just playing tight still.
Not only are they loose, they're fired up. And they lead 15 to 2. There's another turnover. West needs the ball off the backboard and get down the court. They need a stop so they can get offense out of that set.
Yeah, I mean, they're not doing anything offensively against the zone. They don't have any set whatsoever. They're just moving the ball side to side. They got Kerr at high post. I'm not sure that we shouldn't have Rodney Hillary there. There he is, getting the ball.
Well, his pass is deflected, but it'll stay West basketball.
You see, there's no movement by West. I mean, they're all just standing still, and you can't do that against his own. You've got to move.
I thought against the zone, you have to be in the right space.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the gaps, right?
Right.
So
the corner jumpers ought to be available.
Yep, the short corner should be open, but you got to get the ball to the open man, make the easy pass first. An early substitution here for Joe Beck coming in.
I'm sure Coach Gorham told Jubeck to get on the backboard.
Yeah. They moved him to the high post now and Kerr to the corner. So.
It's Rose. Well, he was way off.
Yeah, he's a bundle of nerves.
Yeah.
He's just got to take a deep breath. And
Mattioni. Well, that might just work offensively. Nope. Longo couldn't come down with it. Robles gets a piece of that, so it'll stay Oyster River ball. 3:23 left in the first quarter. The visitors have jumped out to a 17-2 lead. And we get a timeout, West.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing's going
that zone
right.
is just confusing the heck out of them. And you know, they're coming down the floor. We just got the high post. And Oyster River's getting in their passing lane. They're waiting for that second pass. And as soon as they get that second pass, they're in the passing lane. So you got to fake a pass, go back door, do something offensively to throw off this zone.
And not only is it tough for them to break down on the set offense, it slows them down too.
Yeah,
and we know this West team likes to play fast.
That's not their game whatsoever.
That might not be savable, and it isn't.
There we go. Maybe this will help them out and get a turnover by Oyster River and see if we can get a basket here.
That was an unforced turnover.
If you're West, you know, one at a time, one possession at a time. Try to get back in it.
All right, here's Kurt Tang. Tang slides through. Jumper from Prescott. Won't go. Miller slows it down, backs it out. That allows West to match up defensively. He gets it back, goes up top to Marshall. Marshall to Morrell. Morrell's fouled. That's very aggressive defense at that spot in the court.
I mean, down the other end, you know, this is exactly what Oyster River wants. They're taking the ball out of Kerr's hands. Prescott takes a three, and that's not really his game. He's known for his defense and slashing. So, you know, he's forced to take it because, you know, they're taking everybody else out of the game.
So far, Coach Lucas's game plan is working to a T. Prescott gets the foul. He essentially jumped on his back.
They're going to call it on the floor.
And they called it on the floor.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's silly.
Yeah.
He was obviously faked the shot and getting ready to pull the trigger, but he had to let the opponent go over his back first. That's not a shooting foul.
Yeah, it should be, but.
That foul.
That's 5 team fouls in the first quarter here.
Second quick one on Lubeck. Tang with the rebound. Long outlet. Deflected by Miller. Almost into the officials' room over there in the corner.
Oyster River continues to get their hands on every pass. I mean, they're everywhere defensively.
Oh, boy. Rose does a good job to track that thing down. Here's Lang. Won't drop. Lubeck tries to put it back in. It won't go. And here come the Bobcats. Dropped in by Joe Morrell. That's just a simple little slide down the lane, a rotating offense. Oh boy, again that pass. Rose has it now. Or Prescott, I should say. Got Rose heading for the corner. Here's Robles. Got it.
That's what they need. They need to hit a few of those to draw the zone out. Open things up.
That makes it 19-5 with 1:20 left in the first 8 minutes. This will end up in a run out for Rose.
Good look by Kerr up the floor. Good finish by Josh.
That makes it 19-7. They got a double dribble. Coach Gorham helped the referee out on that one a little bit. He made the call first. He was right.
West going with the two bigs now. Hillary checked in for Prescott.
Robles to Tang, a deep three. And Hillary gets his hands on the rebound. Well done. Here's Longo. He's a foul, too. Wester take the points.
Robles been the spark in this little run.
The West defense this time has put Oyster River off of their offensive game. It's a jumper finally. Well off. 8 seconds left until the quarter ends. Deep in the corner to Rose. That would be big. We're going to go in after 8. 19 to 12. What a run for West here to finish the quarter.
That's a 10-0 run. They just started pushing the ball a little bit more there, got a little bit more relaxed, and didn't let Oyster River set their zone up. And now they might hit a couple. They'll feel a little bit better. They can hit them against the zone. They'll be all right. I think Robles really helped out in that run defensively and pushing the ball up the floor, and he hit a 3 himself. So, he took all of Oyster River's punches early. And it's only a 7-point game now, so we'll see what happens in this quarter.
And they hit him with more than one.
Yeah.
Too. 19 to 2 this game was at.
Right.
And we ended at 19 to 12 here in the first quarter, end of first quarter. See that 3 go through, especially at the very end, was an awful good sight. West needs a bunch more of those as this game goes along.
They got the possession at the quarter, too, so they can make it.
There you go. There's Robles here. Longo in the corner to Rose.
Not a bad shot. I mean, they swung the ball there. He was open.
Down low to Marshall. Marshall looking around. Tang on him. Here's a jumper from Miller. Got it. Tang. Got it. All right, here's Kelly. Goes into the corner. Gets it back. Marshall now. Kelly. Good defensive, offensive rebounding position by Kelly, but
good block there by Hillary, but Kelly's been in there. That's his 3rd offensive rebound, so he's scrapping underneath.
He just went to that weak side. He had it to himself down there.
Yeah, he just seemed to be in the right place at the right time all the time. So they got to get a body on him, keep him off the board, so they can get a defensive rebound and run.
The long jumper, gobbled up by Hillary. Rose takes the baseline, takes a shorter jumper. Can't get that to go either. Hillary doesn't want to foul down there and decides that's right, backs off. Here's a jumper from Mattione. Good rebound by Rose, and he's fouled.
It's a little bit better by Josh that time. Keep Maiden off the boards.
Comes in on Kelly, his first. There's actually 2 Kellys on this roster. We haven't seen Ben, the freshman, yet. It's Aiden Kelly, number 3. Rose in the corner. Hillary takes the baseline. Or Longo, excuse me. Can't get it to drop. The jumper from Robert Fowler. And
Oyster River will shoot the 3s. They're not afraid.
Rose. 25-15. Couple of minutes into the second quarter. going to be a travel. Mattione.
That's another telegraph pass, you know. They got to look one way, throw it the other way. And Robles is a little out of control after that. He's frustrated with himself. And he comes down too hard and tries to go dribble against 3 guys. They got to settle back down, get back to what they were doing during their run.
Can't get it all back in one play, can
right.
they? There's a jumper from Kyle Miller. It's way long. But Oyster River's owning that offensive board. And once again, Miller looking to pull the trigger again. Goes over for Kelly. Wow, that'll roll out. And finally, Longo corrals a rebound. They had 4 shots that time. But
yeah, they got to box out. I mean, they're a bigger team. Oyster River's just quicker to the ball.
Longo with a little bit of room. Can't get it to drop.
Yeah, I think their game plan is just to stay in that zone and surround Kerr if he gets the ball to the basket. And let them shoot threes, you know.
Nice little back door. Aiden Kelly catches it and lays it in. And Oyster River with a 14-point lead. Here's some room. Longo can't get it to drop. West will get another opportunity.
See, that time Aiden cut off the baseline from Curry, led him to the basket. He comes back around. As soon as he dribbles out, they're double teaming him. And he forces to get the ball out of his hands.
They almost were triple teaming him that time.
It's a good strategy.
Here's Hillary. Has it taken out of his hands in the lane. Just got to be tougher in there, don't you?
Yeah. With the turn and pivot, you know. You don't put the ball on your floor if you're a big man there.
Don't drop it below your chest either, really. You have that down waist level or so. Oh, that's pretty. Joe Morrell with the reverse layup. He was way behind the backboard. With one hand, did a nice job to get that off the board and in.
They're making him work for everything. As soon as he catches the ball, they're right up on him. As soon as he dribbles to the lane, there's another guy on him.
Oh my.
They're just a hungrier team right now.
Timeout. Timeout West. West answered the first basket of the second quarter with a 3 of their own and haven't scored since.
Right, so it's, they got 1-3 in 5 minutes. And, you know, in that first run for Oyster River, Joe really didn't score that much, you know. They were relying on Kyle Miller. Morrow took maybe 1 or 2 shots. Now they're going to him. He's the scorer, and you can see that he can score the basketball from anywhere. He's shooting threes. He's under the basket, reverse layups. So they're a hungrier team. You can see him on the offensive board. West just needs to play their game, push it, and stay out of the half-court offense because, you know, that's not working for them.
And I think Kerr needs to really settle down and recognize that when he stops and pops, they really can't block his shot.
Right.
They're there, and they're making it difficult for him to do that. But he can get that shot off, and he needs to start dropping it in.
I think he sees, you know, early on he saw the zone, so he's swinging the ball to his teammates, and now he's trying to score because, you know, they're behind. You know, they're double, triple teaming him.
Here he is.
See him right there, 2 guys coming out on him, right? I mean, those are the shots that Oyster River wants him to take, though. You know, not so much Kerr, but
Kerr almost had that stolen. He got a piece of that ball. Joe Morrell was lucky to have it come back to him. This is Morrell. Robles with the good defense, helping out. West man-to-man. They're jumping into traps here and there as well. It's Marshall pushing off, getting away with it. He travels.
If you're West, you want to get this to under 10. You know, don't try to get it all back at once. Get it to under 10. Go into half and strategize.
Prescott got it. That's big for West. They need some scoring from a couple different players here so that Oyster River can't focus on Kurt Tang. Foul's going to be on Robles, reaching around.
That's a couple on him and 16 fouls, so one more Oyster River's in the bonus.
I thought that was a pretty good effort myself.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing good defense.
Oh, man, look at him wide open. But Aiden Kelly didn't catch the ball cleanly, and he turned it over. Here comes Tang. Quick release from Rose. Big rebound by Kyle Miller. Here comes West the other way. Longo got fouled.
Yeah, gets a good look and a good push up the floor. You know, that's what they want. Get the defensive rebound. The last couple possessions are getting the defensive rebound, keeping Oyster River from getting second chances. And it's only a 12-point game. You know, back to a 12-point game. So a little at a time. Get it to under 10. Go into the half and see what you can draw up against that zone.
And that was an Oyster River timeout this time, wasn't it, Buzzer?
Yeah. Yeah, they want to settle down themselves. I mean, they've had a couple of trips where they haven't got shots off here.
Well, I see Central coach Sudi Lett in the crowd.
Yeah, I saw him coming in. Yep.
His team will travel in the first round as a 15 seed. They're going to go to Portsmouth, I think tomorrow.
That's a nice job by them squeaking in there. I mean, they had a tough start. They really had a middle run, I noticed. And, they scrapped to get there.
Yeah, they took Memorial late in the season, which was a big win for them. Girls and the boys from Central beat the girls and the boys from Memorial that night.
Right.
You don't see that very often at Memorial. Oh, come on.
It'll be a 1-and-1 here.
Oh, that's a tough call.
Yeah,
Again, Prescott had a good look at the ball.
I thought so, you know. They've been calling those reaches. You know, some refs are, call certain things. They've been calling those reaches a lot. So I don't think this kid's going to be fazed by anything.
Joe Morrell. That's the third foul, by the way, on Prescott.
Yeah, they might want to, minute 14, they might want to think about getting him out of there. And pick up his fourth.
35-21 now. Here's 10.
Right.
Good rebound. Longo had it in his hand. Tang gets the baseline, dumps it down to Longo. He's going to get caught for dragging that pivot, but
Kerr's doing the right thing, though. He's hitting the open man. The rest of the West players have to step up. Now they get Prescott out of there so he doesn't get his fourth. Freshman Aiden Bowler checking in.
There's Morrell. Swings around to the right, looks down low. I don't know if they're in his zone, but Robles just left his man, if that was his man. Well picked out by Morrell. "18 seconds left in the half. Here's Rose. Got it. "39-24. That one comes out, and that'll end the half. 39-24. Oyster River has tried to run away and hide on the Blue Knights in this one. They had 19-2 midway through the first quarter, but only had a 19-12 lead after 8. Then they pulled away again. We're at 33-15, I believe, at one point, and here it's a 15-point lead at halftime, 39-24.
So after that initial nerves by West, it's been pretty much an even game since that 19-2 run at the beginning. It's just, Oyster River's still sticking to their strategy, and they're not worrying about West hitting the threes. They're going to stay in their zone, and they're going to take their percentages. And it's been working so far for them.
Well, I think Kurt Teng has gotten some really good looks.
Yeah.
And he starts converting them. That lead can get whittled away.
Right. But also, probably half the time he's looking to dish because of the zone. So, that last time down, dished it to Longo and he traveled. I think he's going to take it more into his hands. I mean, it's funny to say it's a freshman, but he's going to take it more in his hands in the second half and just, go with him.
All right. We will take a break right now, come back with the second half. All right, Buzzy, the teams are back. What do you think Coach Gorham had to say to his Chargers there in the locker room?
Well, I hope he didn't have anything to say, and I hope he was drawing up some offensive plays against his own. But hey, I'm sure that's what they talked about. They did miss a lot of open threes, and maybe their intensity a little bit early on was not there. So hopefully that's what he talked about. Get them settled down. They get a little bit at a time. Get it under 10 and then go from there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do a little breathing exercise. Yep. Relax. Say it's okay. We're all right. We just need to focus and play our game.
Yep.
Kind of message. Well, here we go. West starting with a 15-point deficit here in the 8-9 matchup in the preliminary round of the tournament. Pretty good defense by Rose, but Marshall muscled his way in. Scores on the first possession for Oyster River. This is better. Longo gets the loose ball.
A little bit of a force by Robles, but good hands by Longo to catch the loose ball there. I mean, that's Robles' game. He knows one speed, so, you can't get too upset when he turns the ball over because he's going to do 4 or 5 good things. A good block.
Look at Tang stand his ground and just swat that ball away. Kyle Miller tried to use his size at 6'2", but he's actually giving up an inch to Tang. Here's the jumper from Morrell. That's good defense by West. A good look in the corner to Rose too, but they collapse on him. Here's Robles. Rings out.
Not a bad shot though. Good swing back by Rose there. A good shot. Just missed it.
West still in that man-to-man. Nice little.
It's just a nice easy curl there. There's just one screen on the elbow. And a curl off for a layup.
Tang's jumper won't go. Yeah, they've been running that play with the pick off the ball for the whole half.
It's nothing fancy. They're just screening off the elbow. Kids curling around for
layup. Learn to switch if need be, right?
Right. I mean, you don't have time to go through the screen there. So you got to switch. You got to talk and you got to switch.
Or that's a place to go underneath the screen. Recognize it and go underneath it.
Yeah.
Look at the stiff arm. My goodness. You see that now, that offhand pushing or holding defenders off at every level of basketball.
No doubt. It's like they're taught.
Prescott gets it in the corner, goes down low to Longo. Had it knocked away from him. It'll go as a turnover. 43-26.
Those are forced quick pass because they're trapping in the corner. So again, they're falling right in Oyster River's hands.
There's a jumper. That'll go. Mattione gets one. Oyster Rivers put 6 points on the board here in the third in the first 3 minutes. West just 3. That is a 19-point deficit. Tang, that's a block. No way. No way. Tang's going to get called for his first foul of the game.
Yeah, and that should have went the other way.
You and I agree on that one.
He was underneath him.
He fell over with the slightest of bumps.
I mean, look where he fell right there, right underneath the basket. I thought Kerr did a good job with his body control there.
I didn't think there was a foul. I didn't think there was enough contact for a foul.
If anything, a block. If you're going to blow the whistle, it's a block. But.
Kind of looked, if my good friend Don Pennard were here, he'd tell me a soccer game broke out. Right
yeah, just busting on you on that one, right?
Always. I'm going to see him in a week. I'll recap the season for him. Meanwhile, Kyle Miller catches the three-quarter court beautiful pass, you got to admit. Caught it and went up and got fouled.
Oyster River just patiently breaking the press, taking their time, no rush.
They have been sharp here today. There's no questioning that.
They're making their free throws every time they're on their line. I mean,
Miller had
got off the bus.
Yeah, Miller had 9 points at halftime. Morrell had 14 to lead everybody for Oyster River.
So he didn't score too many early, but he came on in that second quarter.
We've seen that at least 3 times tonight. I don't know if it's 4, but it's at least 3. Ouch. His tank.
Yeah, they're surrounding him and it's forcing him to take a tough shot. The 2 guys on him every single time. And Filado's going to check back in. He hasn't been in since the beginning, since those early jitters for him. You know, and we'll see what happens if he shakes it off here.
Well, his game is getting to the hoop, isn't it? He likes to get.
I think just early on, everybody had the jitters, so.
That one's short, and then Mattione trying to rebound his shot came over the back. He'll pick up the foul, I think. First team foul halfway through the third quarter. Tang, one-handed pass, now in the corner to Rose. 2 on him. Takes the baseline, little floater.
That's a nice job. That's a nice job. They rushed out at him. He took what they gave him. A beautiful job by Oyster River breaking the pressure.
They lead by 23. 3:28 left in the third. Oh boy. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you don't make that pass there.
That's a middle school pass.
Yeah, I mean, but nobody's screening. So, you get the side out of bounds, and everybody's just standing around. So, you got to have some guys screening, coming to the basketball. So, you're either forced to call a timeout or make an outlet pass, and that's what he tried to do. You got to screen and move.
You got to move. You open up the court when you do that. Then someone else can move into the spot you were in. As Tang goes to the basket, he'll get 2.
He got a little bit of open space there, and that's what he can do. I'm sure he's a little frustrated, but, he's been taken out by the game plan, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think you were right early on. I think West had a lot of nerves to open this game up, and that made Oyster River ever more confident in what they wanted to do here tonight.
I'm Coach Gorham. I get back in the half-court defense here, too. That's a good move because Oyster River has been breaking that press nice. Make them earn it.
Morrell has it blocked by Longo. That one's deflected and falls into the hands of Josh Rose. He gets it to Teng. He ought to lay that in.
Need more of that. Need more of that. For sure.
Makes it 53-32. Well, half-court defensive pressure is working.
Right, so, they're better off than that because, that full-court pressure, Oyster River's got it down. They have the press breaker where they were getting layups every time.
Rose for 3. The game
chipping.
Go ahead, buddy.
Keep chipping, get it to 10. You got a couple minutes here, you can make a little run.
I was going to say the game can be very simple. Just passing it back and forth. Bilardo and Rose did it to the point where Rose had enough room to pull the trigger and he dropped the 3 on him. I'd go right back to it next time down if I were West.
Yeah, I mean, it worked.
Make your opponent do something different to stop it. Bilardo's not going to get any love from the referee again. Looked like decent
14
defense.
fouls now for West.
Second one on Carson. Into the corner, the jumper. It's well off. Tang rebound. Now kick it out to Rose. He just made one from there. That one won't go. Rebound kept alive, I think, by Teng, but it fell to Oyster River.
It's a nice look. Nice look by Kerr. Doing what you're supposed to do.
Baseline, Morrell. Bilardo with the rebound.
Oh,
he fouled. See, now he doesn't get a foul on that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same call. They've been calling that reach all night.
I don't get that.
Yeah. But he's trying to push the ball. You see, he's got one speed, so that's not a bad idea. Push the ball up the floor and get some open looks.
There's 1:15 left in the third. His team's down by 18, so yeah, they better get going. Now, that's kind of a hopeful bounce pass in there that Oyster River hit last. State West basketball. Bilardo got Teng in the corner, fakes. Now he takes a little bump and he'll get the call.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it's a trap. That's where they want you to pass the ball.
Rose's pass is deflected. Gallardo pressing on the sideline. He got the Oyster River player to step on the sideline.
I got a little lazy with the ball there, Josh. You got to be crisp with their passing.
He thought he was fooling somebody. That's good work by Gallardo, although he ended up losing control. He split those defenders. He did the right thing there.
Yeah, he lost it, He could have kicked it right there. He just lost it before he did. Jump ball goes to Oyster River. Haven't seen any of Rodney Hillary here in the third quarter. I don't know if he's banged up or he started the game, but they've been going with Longo the whole time.
Looks like Prescott came on for Gallardo. Longo's reaching. He knocked it out of play. It'll stay Bobcat basketball with 35 seconds to go in the third. 18-point lead. Good work by Prescott. Hey, Alex got a touch.
Yeah, he must have went right to him.
Alex helps maintain this facility for West High School.
There's a reach call.
.22 seconds left in the quarter. Oyster River by 18. Rose, he'll pull the trigger. Morrell kicks it in the corner to Ramsey. Morrell with the rebound. .3 seconds left. We're going to go in after 3, 55 to 35. And West, instead of chipping away at a 15-point deficit, has seen it go up to 20 now with 8 minutes left.
Yeah, good quarter by Oyster River. They started out by getting some layups off the full court pressure from West. And then West backed off of that, and they're being just more patient with the basketball than West is. West is turning it over a bunch, and they can't seem to get anything together against this zone.
They've been a step ahead of the Blue Knights all night long, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think the game plan has worked for Oyster River. A good job by Coach. This game plan.
And certainly those players have all bought in. They've worked real hard and executed tonight.
And they're trapping. And every time the ball's in the corner, they're trapping. They're getting hands on basketball. I don't know how many hands they got on basketballs tonight, but it seems like every other pass that West makes, their hands on there. So
I'm thinking of getting my hair colored to join them.
Yeah. I don't know what we got going there. We got a mixture though of blonde and sort of red going. I don't know. Isn't that a soccer thing, Pete? Dyeing your hair? Yeah.
Neymar, Paul Pogba put a little stripe in his. It looks like a skunk.
I don't allow it in football because it stains the helmets.
And what's the use with the helmet anyway?
Right.
The jumper by Robles. Rose got a piece of the rebound, which allowed it to go to Tang, who laid it in and was fouled.
The only way West is going to get back in this is they shorten the game. They got to get some turnovers. Maybe use every single timeout after a hoop, and just kind of shorten the game, and then get them on the foul line late. and see what happens. A 20-point deficit in the fourth quarter, that's a lot to overcome.
Tang missed a shot. He knew it was going to miss, and he went in early.
Yeah.
Violation was on him. It'll be OR ball.
There's that curl.
Almost looked like it traveled there, but I don't think Morrell actually had caught the ball. And the lay-in for Marshall makes it 57-37.
Oh, it's another
and
steal.
a steal again.
That same pass at the top of the key, they've gotten steals and layups off of all night.
I think one in every quarter.
Yeah.
Here's Tang. Prescott got it. Makes it 59-42. Timeout. Oyster River. Coach Lucas.
Good timeout. It's a good timeout there. Curl's putting some pressure on him in the backcourt. I mean, we're trying to will ourselves back into this, but, you know, it's got to do it a little at a time. Get to like 4 minutes and get it to 10. I mean, it's possible. And then you can go from there. Just you gotta emphasize. If you coach Gorham, you gotta emphasize not to get it all back at once. You know.
Yep. Exactly right, isn't it? However, we are at the 6:11 mark of the fourth quarter, so it has to happen.
Yeah.
Gotta get going now. It's a 17-point deficit. See, the ball's going to be inbounded right by David Greenidge Jr., who coached a lot of these guys at Parkside.
Yeah. Real good man. Does great things for kids in the community.
He has sat where you are now, Buzzy, a few games last year.
Yeah.
The year before, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, he goes above and beyond. You know, he opens the gym for kids in the summertime. Yeah. You know, he does a lot of good things. Coaches track over at Parkside.
And he's a referee, too.
Yeah, he's a referee.
Like his dad.
Involved in the community and a real good guy.
All right, here's Aiden Kelly. Oyster River may become more patient. The clock is certainly their friend in this one. The baseline jumper won't go. Longo gets the rebound.
I think they are being patient, but they're going to take the open shots. Like, you know, they're just running their offense. They're not going to stall or anything. There's that pass again. The same thing.
And it's laid in. That's got to be 6 times that ball's been stolen right there.
And Joe Morrell's been the best player on the floor tonight. You know, offensively, defensively, he's been all over the place. That was a great pass on the other end. There's a 3.
61-45. Prescott drawing a lot of company. Gets it up off the backboard, gets the rebound, but he steps out of bounds. 4:35 to go. The Bobcats by 16. And there is that play. Tang's got some room this time. Makes it 61-47.
There's offensive. See, there's that off arm that we're talking about.
Yeah, and not only an off arm, he lowered the shoulder and went into it.
Yeah.
He initiated that contact.
Yeah, that's not a good call. That's good defensive by Rose.
Referees are gonna. That's kind of new to the game, I think. Yeah. But it's and especially at this level, the referees are gonna have to deal with it. Rose, Longo, that's deflected, but Tang catches it. You gotta wonder if there's an offhand used on that rebound as well as Hillary hit the deck.
Yeah, that was a kind of a weird play. They both had their hands on the ball, and Hillary was a little off balance, I think. Game's getting a little sloppy here. The West fans really want to foul.
Longo with
that's
three.
Not his game. That's not his game. You know, Longo's an inside player. Look at him scrap, though. Great hustle. Great hustle either way.
Coach Lucas on the Oyster River sideline wants a full timeout to calm this gym down a little bit.
Yeah. I think Coach Gorham's going to stop thinking about using all of his after baskets here and then stop the clock late with fouls. You know, now you got to be each possession. If you make a three, you got to burn one, get in some kind of different defense to try to get a turnover, and then late in the game you're going to foul anyways. So you're going to stop the clock with that. I know he has a bunch in his pocket, and he hasn't used any, so you can't take them home with you. You know, you may as well use them.
So that would be the strategy is to be able to switch up your defenses and throw something.
So, you know, you call a timeout and you switch up. Maybe get into a half-court trap or whatever you have in your pocket. You know,
keep your opponent off balance and start making mistakes.
But the key is you got to stop the clock, right? So you know you can't hit a three and then have them come down and take 40 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
So you know you stop the clock and then you know later you just start fouling.
The 14-point deficit with 2:54 to go. It's doable. And Longo is fouled.
Oh boy. You know, that's a foul you don't want called. I mean, you know, he's got to step on it to 2-on-1, 2-on-none. Now we're going to have a possession.
Yeah, instead of the points. Longo's working hard, though, isn't he?
He's leaving it out there. I expect nothing else from that kid.
Robles tracks down the rebound, gets it to Longo, now to Hillary. That shot is blocked. Hillary gets back in there. He's going to get a foul, though, on Hillary. Not a held ball.
They're going 1-on-1 down the other end. That's too little, too late for West now. I think that's it. They needed a hoop there for sure.
Well, the West girls qualified for the tournament this year, Buzzy.
Yeah, you know, they did a good job. They had a little bit of a tough matchup in the first round. They got beat.
Well, they came in as a 15, so that's 15-2.
And unfortunately, they were missing a couple of their starters in that game, so, you know, that hurt too. But what a great job by them.
They had that weird schedule where they only played 8 home games and played 10 away, and then in the last 2 weeks of the regular season, they didn't play any home games.
I don't know who was making that thing.
So I never got back here to see him a second time. Look forward to that next year.
Yeah, I think they'll continue to improve. The coach really works hard. They're a young group, and they're just learning how to play basketball. So. This game is just getting scrappy and ugly. And Oyster River just put it away right there, if they hadn't already.
65-47 with a minute 35 to go.
I think West nerves early combined with, their lack of depth, as we talked about in a couple of games. Kind of came back to hurt him today.
They ran into a buzzsaw here tonight.
I mean, Oyster River really came to play. You got to give them all the credit. I mean, they, 1 through 5 on the court, they've just been all over the place.
And of course, the 8-9 matchup is always close. Maybe not tonight.
And West had a good run there at the second half of the season, where they really put it together. And, they had gotten beat by Oyster River earlier. And sometimes it's just matchups, You have a matchup problem against a certain team.
Right.
And, you just don't match up well against them. And, I can see why. Now, I didn't see the first game, but I can see why. If Oyster River played that same matchup zone, then, that gave West fits tonight, too.
10 gets 1. 65-48 with a minute 20 to go. That's loose. That should.
Yeah. These guys are still scrapping. I'll give him credit. Too long though. He's all over the place.
Meanwhile, over on the girls' side, Buzzy, in Division I, Central grabbed the 5th seed with a nice finish to that season, and got knocked out though by the 12 Nashua South in the first round.
Okay. And Memorial lost too, right?
Memorial, right, but they won in the prelim. They were the 3 seed this year. They beat Nashua North, but they lost to a feisty Goffstown team on Saturday night on a terrific game, maybe the best game I've seen all year. Back and forth, trading threes and the leads, and Kelly Walsh, a great scorer for Goffstown, led her team to the semifinals. They'll take on Londonderry in a few days. BG will take on Concord the 8, and Bedford will play Nashua South the 12. So we got both the 6 and the 12.
It's the BG Invitational, right? I mean, I heard a rumor today, and I don't know why I heard this rumor, but that they got a 6'4" transfer coming in. It continues to be their invitational until somebody knocks them up. Goffstown, though, seems like their programs in general have gone on the upturn. I was at the Division I JV tournament this weekend a little bit over at Memorial, and they're in the finals today against Dover, and their JV team looked really good, and their varsity team did pretty well this year as well. So I think their whole programs, girls and boys, have gone to the up.
All right, let's wrap this one up, though. Tang threw everybody. His floater won't go. He's gonna wish he could replay this game tomorrow, probably.
Yeah.
He had a rough night.
Yeah, and I think it's Oyster River's credit. I think he's had some open shots where he missed, but it's that zone. Sometimes it's just like we talked about. That matchup. I can't say it enough. Sometimes it's just not the right matchup for you.
Right. I think you're onto something there.
You don't want to play man against these guys. Kirk can take anybody off the dribble. He's got everything in his arsenal, right? And Wes has got quick kids off the dribble, so I give all the credit to Oyster River and their coaching staff.
But if Tang had hit
right, it would have
a
been a
lot of
closer
those
game.
jumpers,
It would have been a closer game.
it would have
no
been a
doubt.
closer game. He would have had great confidence. It
Yeah.
would have been a different game.
And it might have taken him out of his zone a little bit as well.
Whoa.
Oh.
And on another day, he does make those shots.
Yeah. Well, he is 14 years old, and he is a freshman.
Well, that's incredible, really.
so,
I forget that.
Yeah, we're talking like, he's a senior, and this is his last game. Although, I hope this isn't the last we see of him here at West. There's a lot of prep schools wooing a kid like that, and I'd rather see kids stay here and play.
Me too.
At least for a couple years anyways, right?
Yeah.
We had the same with Cook a few years ago where he left after his sophomore year. And, if he stayed one more year, I'm thinking championship,
Right.
So sometimes, it's better for the kid, though. So you can't be selfish. What's good for the kid is what you're looking for.
Sure.
Whether it be, he goes off to a big prep school, a smaller one like his brother did. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Jumper from Prescott. And the foul on Rose.
And West is still young. They have a bunch of younger kids. Their JV team was real good this year as well. They made the final in their tournament here, the JVs. So, they have a couple kids that can play, a couple kids that can shoot. Clemondon, he was injured, I think, in the tournament, so he wasn't even dressed tonight. So that's a kid that they usually go to for a few minutes,
Yep.
Checking in is Aiden Bolak.
Well, they lose their size, it
Right.
looks like, to
Yeah,
graduation.
yeah.
And Hillary.
They got a couple of big kids at the JV level, though.
Good. Yep. Free throws make it 68-48.
My man Matt Andrews checked in as well. There he is, scrapping. Football player.
Number 15, Andrus, Matthew Andrus, Jr. And Oyster River's going to move on to play the number 1 seed in Division II boys. That's the Conval Valley boys. I don't know what they are. They're going to win 68-48 from start to finish. A comprehensive win for the Bobcats and a rough ending for the Blue Knights in 2020.
Yeah, it's a good job by West in the second half of the year, making the playoffs, getting the home playoff game. It's been a while since that happened. Just not their night tonight.
Yes, so congratulations to them and goodbye to Josh Rose, Jubek Longo, and Rodney Hillary, the seniors. And those guys were a lot of fun to watch, and I enjoyed it very much. Any other thoughts on that one,
No, I
Buzz?
appreciate you having me this year. It was fun doing the games. My first time doing the basketball games. It's a way for me to get back into it and kind of coach from the sidelines. I've been out of off the sidelines for a couple years now. Concentrating on my football gig, and I just love basketball, so I like being around it, and I appreciate you having me.
All right, well, I can throw that right back at you. Thanks a lot, buddy. We'll leave it at that. That could be my season here this year on Manchester Public Television Services. Between soccer and basketball, I called about 45 games, I think.
That's a lot of time you put in. People got to know that. It's great for the kids, too.
But I get to see some great games. I get to meet a lot of nice people, and I enjoy it very much. So we'll leave it at that. For Tom Bezoyan, I'm Peter Capano, and we'll catch you next season on Manchester Public Television Services Game of the Week.